When I look to buy a vehicle or look at vehicles in general, I always look at the efficiency of them, whether they're gas or electric or whatever. This is actually diesel, first diesel car I've ever reviewed on the channel. And one of the things that bothers me about trucks in general is they're just incredibly inefficient. Now, you do need them for hauling, farmers need them for various things, contractors need them so they can feel important. There's many reasons and uses for trucks, but my thing is that most of the time, you're never actually using the truck bed, you're just creating drag and making the car more inefficient. And that's where something like a Rivian comes in. And the question is a GMC Sierra 1500 like this with a 2-inch lift, the off-road package, all this stuff, which it is beautiful in here, is it still necessary when you can get a Cybertruck, an F-150 Lightning, a Rivian, etc.? Do you still need something like this? So here's a few things about the GMC Sierra 1500 that you may want to know.
The Sierra 1500 AT4X has a few unique features. In fact, the AT4X AEV edition is $6,895 in addition to the standard $79,200. And that gives you hot stamped boron steel skid plates, front and rear differential transfer case, and fuel tank covers. AEV stamps steel rear bumper, and the rear bumper also has speakers that fold down out of the back of it as a kicker sound system, which is really cool. 12-spoke high gloss black aluminum wheels, which have a great look to them, has rocker protection, AEV all-weather floor liners, AEV branded front head restraints and tailgate decal in sterling metallic. Has a 3-year 36,000-mile warranty and a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It also has a 13.4-inch diagonal color touchscreen with wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. It's a 12-speaker Bose premium sound system. The inside of the Sierra is bigger than most apartments and cheaper than what you can get in New York City.
Now, driving this thing around, this is totally new to me as far as driving a diesel. I have no diesel, whatever you guys like to say, you know? I have no use for this, way overkill. I think it said the towing capacity was like 18,500 pounds or some insane number. Driving in this thing, it's not bad. It has a ton of torque. It's not quick. I thought it was gonna be a little bit quicker. I've gone to the drag strip and I've seen these Cummins turbo trucks run 11 and 10-second quarter miles. That was ridiculous. I saw that in like high school 10 years ago and was just shocked by the fact that trucks could do that. I didn't know that was possible. But you're in a commanding position. You have a ton of space in here. There's a sound system that hangs off of the back of this, a kicker sound system that hangs off the back of the truck. The alloy wheels on this are specific to the off-road kit and the ATX package, so that's kind of cool. Sunroof, suede headliner, which is very nice. So this one specifically is spec'd to $88,000, so it's very expensive. It's just as much as my Rivian. My Rivian's $90,050. So they're in the same price range. And the question is, what are you going to like more on a daily basis? So my experience with this so far, 18.9 miles per gallon. It's rated at 19 city, 20 highway. So we're kind of right within that range of what it said it would be. When you're, like we're coming to an intersection here and then we're gonna go ahead and accelerate. It is an interesting feeling. The turbo makes some nice sounds. It has a good feel to it, but there's just this effort you have to feel the car putting in, get down into the right gear, shift, turbo spools up, all of these things that when you're driving an electric truck, you don't have to think about. It's just very smooth. It does have Apple CarPlay, so if we click that there, boom, we got Tim Dillon and Theo Vaughn, which is a hilarious episode on this past weekend with Theo Vaughn. I'm not someone that thinks that we need to go full electric and all this stuff. This is still useful if you want to haul horses and not have to worry about charging infrastructure right now. We're just not quite there yet when you go out onto the fringes of what some people need to do in terms of hauling and long distance travel that has to be quicker. We're just not quite there yet. The charging is very good when it comes to Tesla and them opening up their network. That's all great. But with trucks and hauling something, it just doesn't really make sense right now to me, unless you're going within 100 miles of your destination and then your destination has a charger for you to charge back up and not have to disconnect and all that stuff. So yeah, driving this it's pretty nice. You have a solid acceleration feel. You do have paddle shifters here. The screens are very nice here, very clear, just like that Chevy Colorado I drove. Thing was very nice. Click this button here. Got a storage compartment up top. Then you have your glove box down here. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a nice sounding motor. I'll give it that. Like, it's kind of fun to cruise around in this thing. It feels like a militarized tank. Suspension is actually stiffer than you'd think. This car doesn't move around a lot. And the suspension has a ton of travel in it, but there may be some suspension settings that could be changed. But overall, it's a lot stiffer than I would have expected. Does not have an air suspension. My Rivian does. So let's jump in the Rivian right now, kind of see how that feels in direct comparison to this, and we can summarize thoughts. Now that we're in the Rivian, immediately this feels lighter. I actually don't think it's that much lighter than that GMC, but it just has a much more, you know, we're coming to a stoplight here, and I'll be able to accelerate to 60 in 3.5 seconds in sport mode, okay? And that uses far less energy to do that. These are just so much more efficient to where when you're not hauling and you're not doing those things and you're going to the grocery store, you're picking up your kids from school and things like that, you don't feel bad about driving this vehicle around and creating all that extra drag because it gets like 80 miles per gallon E. So like the equivalent of getting 80 miles per gallon on the highway or in the city. It's just night and day difference. I mean at the bottom of the screen here, this is what it costs for me to totally fill this up, fully charge this at home. That's what it costs at 14 cents per kilowatt hour. And that's for 341 miles of range. And they have their own charging network out there. It has a ton of torque. It has good towing capacity. So if most of your towing could be done with this truck, you know, as long as you're not going that far. If you're going further, okay, and you're doing it often, okay, I'd say go with the GMC. But just the day-to-day driving of this has the air suspension that's constantly adapting to your drive modes. If I want to go into high ride height, it's lifting the car right now, and after I cross 45 miles per hour, the ride height will drop back down into standard. It has 5 different height settings for the air suspension for you to adapt. It has 16 inches of rear clearance because there's no rear differential or pumpkin hanging off the back of the car, so that's good. And on top of all of that, it's going to have software updates that continually make this better over time. Another Rivian truck there, we'll give them the wave. She wasn't looking. She wasn't looking. She was going to Barnes & Noble. Hi, welcome to Barnes & Noble. What can I get for you today? Hi, I'll get a triple venti soy latte with a Harry Potter.
Your father was a swine.
My father was not a swine.
But your mother, Lily, had the nectar.
I've been playing that skit up in my head that is like a bit for a while now, and I don't know why. You know, I don't know where that will head, but we're developing it. It's developing,
but your mother, Lily, had that.
So the Rivian and electric vehicles in general pack insane performance in them, and you're able to easily access that. Driving them is just less effort because you're able to just tap that pedal, gets you to where you want to go, and you can be very accurate with it. I've just come to really appreciate that with electric vehicles in general. And I'm not forcing electric vehicles down your throat. If you need that diesel, if you need 10 of them, get them and drive them every day, okay? I'm just trying to give you, you know, think of every guy I see that drives one of those like diesel massive trucks, they like work for their dad's company and in kind of construction. They wear those twill vests and they've never dug a hole in their life. And then the other thing is like solar guys roll around in lifted, jacked up trucks to show that they made 500 grand last year playing knock knock. Okay? It's unnecessary most of the time. And then you'd be like look at the size of that GMC right there. Yeah, I don't know. I just try to like open your eyes to these other things that you should try. You can schedule a test drive with Rivian and things like that. I just think it's worth doing because these things are pretty impressive for this being their first go around. They came out in 2022. We're now in 2024. I was able to lease this. Lease is going to cost me like $36,000 or $37,000 to lease it for 2 years. But I get a return from YouTube videos. It makes sense for me. It may not for you. But I think these are going to depreciate a lot. I'd also look at the used market. Wow, where the hell did I just pull into? These are the wealthy folks. I said, look, these are the wealthy folks. I think you should look at the used market on Rivians. They're touching the $50,000 range now. I think the large pack is the way to go. Dual motors, that's all-wheel drive, and then you get like mid 300s in the range, depending on what tires you get. There's just a lot of like really good deals on there in cars in general right now. The market's heading more toward the buyer if you can pay cash, because interest rates are very high, so that kind of offsets it. But yeah, it's worth looking at an electric truck right now. If you like trucks, but you're not like doing all the truck things all the time, okay? Your friends aren't going to make fun of you because you drive an electric truck, okay? Just, what's this guy staring at? Oh, his dog. He's walking his dog. I thought he was staring at that tree. He's just walking his dog. Ma'am, all these people walking chihuahuas. You don't need to walk in Chihuahua. You put it in your purse and go to Walmart and buy things with it. I don't know. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so that's life. So I think this is a solid option. Dead end. I think this is a solid option for you. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Rivian, you know, they sold me a truck, and I've always said I'd never own a truck. I have no use for it. But now with 2 kids, being able to throw the strollers and things in the back, I think it actually will be useful. Every once in a while when I need to haul a mattress or help a friend move, I can be the go-to guy for that. And that's just fantastic, giving back to my community. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. If it wasn't, that's also fine. I just wasted a lot of your time if you're still here. One of the big concerns with electric vehicles is driving long distances and how is the charging. So I'm going to show you what that's like in this video right here. It's a long distance road trip, 2,000 miles across the US. I think you'll really enjoy that to see how the charging infrastructure is.